Welcome to hour number 2 on this Friday, live right here on the early line on SportsGrid. It's Ben, it's Donnie, it's our coach, James Young, JY. From the very start of this second hour, as we approach All-Star Weekend in the WNBA out in Phoenix, we will see Team WNBA All Stars versus Team USA tomorrow night in the desert before Team USA looks to win yet another gold medal in Paris. And the other players get a long-awaited break. The Olympic break will take us all the way to August 15th. So we have a while until regular season action resumes, JY, but we'll get your early looks at what the second half of this year in the W will have in store. Thanks for being here on this Friday on TEL.
There's nothing better for the coach to get a workout in with his trainer and then come in with the dynamic duo to start my weekend. Good morning, fellas.
Good morning to you, JY. We appreciate the activity on this Friday. So, as we have said in Major League Baseball, similar story here in the WNBA. Yes, the All-Star break, the long Olympic break, but most teams around the W have played near 25 games, past the halfway point, technically, of a 40-game regular season. But let's go to JY's scouting report and his watch list in the WNBA. Let's start individually here, JY, with your player to watch in the home stretch, trying to lead her team to glory this year in the WNBA. Who would that player be?
You know, Sabrina Ionescu has been on an absolute heater. She was, I think, Player of the Month in the Eastern Conference in June. She just got Player of the Week just this past week, announced last night, even though Caitlin Clark had a 24-19 game. She has been absolutely dynamic. Her ability to shoot the ball from three. People forget how good Sab was at Oregon, because part of it was people weren't watching as much. And then obviously her senior year was COVID, and they canceled the NCAA tournament. But Sabrina Ionescu is one of the most dynamic guards. If you look at Caitlin Clark, you look at Sabrina Ionescu. A little bit different a game, but a girl like Sab, who is getting 19.4 points per game, top 10 in the WNBA, 6.2 assists per game. Remember, she's primarily the two guard, but had to move to the point when Sloot went out with injuries and missed about 10 games and rebounds the ball. Simply put, Ben, she has, with a team, with Courtney Vandersloot, a team with Bananas and Lainey Hamilton, with John Quell, with Stewie, Ben, she has been the best player for the New York Liberty. She's gone on some incredible run this last month and a half. And if the Liberty are going to win the WNBA championship, I get worried about Stewie because they load up on her. If Sab can play like this gives the Liberty a great chance to win a WNBA title because of her ability to score from three and create off the bounce, not only for herself, but for her teammates.
Take a look at the top standings here in the WNBA. 4 teams, Coach, with 17-plus wins on the season. The Storm, the Lynx, the Sun, and the Liberty. And I see there a team to watch here would be the Connecticut Sun, sitting at 18-6. What are we looking for from the Connecticut Sun once we return in about a month post-All-Star and Olympic break?
Can the acquisition of Marina Mabry do what I think it's going to do, which is have someone that can make shots? Listen, I know Marina is only shooting 35% for the year from three, but she's made more three-point attempts, right, per game than anybody in the history of the Connecticut Sun since Katie Douglas in 2006. Yikes, that's a long time. So if you have someone like Marina that can knock down shots, she's tough as nails. She is a two-way player, and let me tell you something. She's a Jersey kid. So, of course, you know, Coach Young's going to have a little bit of that Jersey bias that she's down the way from Manasquan. I've known this kid since she was about 10 years old. I've known her family for over 20 years. This girl is as competitive as they come, and she fits what the Sun need perfectly in regards to toughness, in regards to defense, but she gives them what they need the most is shooting. If she can make shots and run the point, that makes things easier for people, especially like Alyssa Thomas, who doesn't shoot from three, but can punch the gap and get open looks. It's something that is needed for Connecticut, one of the worst shooting teams from three in the WNBA. Got one of the best shooters in the league in Marina Mabry.
one of the best defensive teams in the WNBA, that's Connecticut. But to JY's point, the additions offensively, Marina, Mabry, a huge spot for the Sun. An 8-1 price on Connecticut. That is the third best number to win a WNBA title behind both the New York Liberty and the Las Vegas Aces that enter the All-Star and Olympic break as co-favorites at plus 155. Now let's talk award races, JY, before we get your title prediction. To win the MVP award, it seems as though jaWilson has already grabbed it, her second in the last 3 years. Minus 3,000 to win the MVP. So, JY, I'm not going to ask you who's going to win the WNBA MVP hardware this year. I'm going to ask you to highlight the best of what jaWilson does for Las Vegas. What is it that works so well for the Aces?
I was getting excited because I was going to go on a limb and go chalk and say jaWilson to be MVP. I don't think that's really much of a value play. There's no value in that whatsoever. Now, when you look at jaWilson, Ben, it is her ability to absolutely control the boards. She is a rebounding machine. Her post play is scintillating. She's able to use her power to kind of get people off her. She's got a nice stroke, and she is competitive. I don't know if you guys saw this. They lost their last game to the Chicago Sky, and Usher was at the game. And a bunch of her teammates wanted pictures. And jaWilson was not too happy. She let it know that it's on social media. And I think that may be the biggest thing. She's competitive. She wants to win. This is about her legacy. She wants to win another championship. And she's got to do more in regards to leadership, because I honestly think, Ben, people may not think so. I think they miss Candace Parker. I think Candace Parker, being in that locker room, even though she was hurt second half of the year, she got them to play the right way. She got them to play defense. She took pressure over players like Kia Stokes. jaWilson is now taking that mantle of the leader of this team, and she will drag all of them to the finish line, even in games like against Chicago, where their defense started to lapse.
Taking a look at that Rookie of the Year marketplace here, Coach, and it looks like we're getting a runaway now. Just about a week and a half ago, while that double-double streak was intact for Angel Reese, we were looking at price points here for Caitlin Clark, minus 550, minus 600. After that double-double streak was broke, it quickly rocketed up to minus 1,000. We now see this price point at a minus 2,000 here. So my question to you is not like, will Caitlin Clark win this award? Is this award going to get shorter, or is it just a runaway from here where we might be looking at some off the board once we get back to action in the WNBA?
Listen, the only way this thing becomes any kind of story is if Caitlin Clark goes through some kind of serious slump. They're playing so much better basketball. You could argue right now that Caitlin Clark's a top 10 player in the WNBA. Right now. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't think so at the beginning of the year. But right now, you can't name you can't name 5 players playing better than this kid right now. So it's over. It's done. And you know what? As soon as this thing happened, when she won that game versus the Liberty, it was hold my beer. And then Caitlin Clark basically shut the whole damn door shut with that performance versus Dallas. That had nothing to do with them not playing defense. She was unbelievable at what I watched. What do you want to call her? Larry Bird, Steve Nash, Tina Pinchero? I don't care. Put them all together, make a pot of gumbo. That's how good she was. She was unbelievable. She's a top 5 player in the board, and don't even try betting on Angel Reese to win Rookie of the Year.
19 assists for Caitlin Clark, albeit in a losing effort because of the poor defense from Indiana on Wednesday night in the Fever's final game before the All-Star and Olympic break. That's the most ever in the history of the WNBA in a single game. I think there's an argument to be made that after this long Olympic break and some rest for some of the top rookies that played last year in college basketball, they might even come out better than they were before. We'll talk more about the All-Star Weekend next. All-Star Weekend in Phoenix in the WNBA. One final piece of the scouting report from our coach, JY, here for a second consecutive segment before we look at what all of the festivities All-Star Weekend has to hold out in the desert. JY, at the bottom, we asked for your title prediction this year in the W. You see a rematch of last year's championship set between the Liberty and the Aces, but maybe a different outcome. What is it about this year's Liberty team that will lead to a title victory over the Aces, unlike a season ago?
Well, number one, I think the improved play of Sabrina Ionescu is probably the biggest takeaway that I have. Number two, I just look at a team like Las Vegas, and maybe they turn it on, turn it off. They have some weird losses, and they give up, when they lose, they give up a boatload of points, Ben. And who comes in as one of the best offenses in the WNBA? Yes, that would be the New York Liberty. Number three, they have a problem with Jonquel Jones. This girl absolutely shreds them every time they see them. I don't know what Becky Hammond could possibly do. Unless they make a trade, you could turn around and you can put jaWilson on, obviously, Jonquel. Now, what that's going to do is that's going to unlock Stewie, and Stewie, I still think at some point, is going to put together a better than a 3 for 17 Game 4 performance is the last time she faced off against the Aces in the playoffs. So I think you get a better version of the Stewie, and I just look at this Liberty team as they have to get over a hump. This is the only, if I'm not mistaken, the only original franchise in the WNBA that does not have a WNBA title. All they had was a Commissioner's Cup title that they won at Las Vegas last year. I do believe in this team, and honestly, they better win it because there could be changes with next year with the expansion. Could people be moved? There's always talk about it when they go to the Bay. Sabrina's from out by the Bay. Does she end up going there? So they're running out of time, Ben, and their time is now.
Catching lightning in a bottle is what the WNBA was doing. They have the All-Star Game on Saturday night, and you couldn't pick a better format, Coach. Team USA versus the WNBA All-Stars. We look at the line. It's a 5.5-point number as a favorite towards Team USA. The initial look for me would be, that's absolutely crazy because theoretically you're supposed to have the top 15 players on one side versus the rest of the league. It should be a runaway. But now as we set up, it's Angel Reese. It's Caitlin Clark trying to make basically even the playing field by saying we should be on this WNBA Team USA. What is the deal in this All-Star Game? And quite frankly, who wins this bad boy?
First things first, I'm going to say this, and this will be the highest rated women's event in the history of this country because this is where the narrative comes in. You have, obviously, Team USA. Then you have the greatness of Caitlin Clark, who some people believe, rightfully so, should be on Team USA. So now you have all these things coming together. Playing the game Saturday night, 8:30, perfect spot. I think there's going to be plenty of eyes on this game. And listen, Diana Taurasi kind of already put it out there, saying we have a lot to prove. They have a lot to prove in a couple of fronts. Number one, they're just getting together. Number two, they're looking at a girl across the floor who many think should be there. These are very competitive women. I think this is going to be, honestly, this ain't going to be the NBA All-Star Game. This is going to have some juice. This is going to have some sizzle. This may even, folks, this may even have some defense in there. But that being said, the length, the experience, it already has moved a little bit. I think it was the 4.5. I think when it first came up to 5.5. I do like Team USA because they got to get up to a good start. They don't have a lot of time. I do like them to cover the spread in the game Saturday night.
JY, if the Saturday night WNBA All-Star Game outdraws the national championship game in the women's NCAA tournament between Iowa and South Carolina at 18.9 million viewers, I will Venmo you $18.90. There's not a chance in the world it outdraws them from a TV viewership perspective, but it might be the highest WNBA All-Star game ever in its rating. Let's talk about the actual game itself. You mentioned it's going to have some juice. 5.5-point spread, 194 in a hook. Is that over-under? How would you approach it from a handicap perspective in terms of laying down a wager tomorrow night?
Well, I think it's going to be Team USA minus the points because I think their experience, and I think the fact that for them, they've also been in this they've been in this pool together. So they've actually had practices and stuff over the last 2.5 years leading up to this. This isn't just roll the ball out first time a lot of these ladies have been on the floor together. They've been in the Olympic pool, training and working together in the offseason. So I do think that is where you like it. Over under, I probably will just go team total over for Team USA because I think they'll be able to score at will versus the WNBA All Stars. And Ben, you may be right. 18.9 million viewers. But Caitlin Clark has dragged this league into heights that we've never, ever seen. And there is a narrative that a lot of the Caitlin Clark supporters are going to watch this game because they want to see how she does. I think you get the other side of the people that want to see, can she do it? So, I mean, you may sit there and say that there's no chance. Maybe it's not 18.9 million viewers. I think it surpasses WNBA All-Star game. I think it surpasses every WNBA game, period, on Saturday night.
It will be fun to watch, and also you'll see Team USA certainly come together there. You see Team USA, the men's basketball side, doing fairly well in Abu Dhabi right now. Looking at that odds market, Team USA is a heavy favorite, just like the men's, even more so at a minus 1,800. France, Belgium, Japan, and China follow behind. Are we worried about Team USA women's edition here this summer, or is it going to be a cakewalk like typically it's been in the past?
No. Who are we worried about? I mean, it's different than with the men, with the fact that you can line up how many of the top 10 players in the world are actually non-U.S., right? You line up the top women's basketball players in the world, and even if I'm going to take a woman, okay, because even though she plays in Nigeria, she is an American. I'm going to take a bunch of those players that could be playing across for another country. Simply put, we probably have the best 12 players in the tournament. Not even close. They're going to blow people out. It's just a matter of how much are they going to win games by.
Yeah, absolutely. So those spreads are going to be ridiculous. Team USA has won 7 consecutive gold medals dating back to 1996 at the Olympic Games. More on the early line up next.